It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Tell me about reading the script for the first time. Does Quentin call you and say, I have this script, or he just tells you what the story is and you say, I'm in?
Okay, here's how it works. You get the call. Pretty excited about the call. You know it's going to be something interesting. You get called, you go over to QT's house. You sit down at his table. He usually makes you a tea, or he'll make you, like an iced tea. He likes iced tea with a lot of sugar. He'll make you one of those, like a big gulp style, and he'll tell you about the story, about an hour. You may not know this, he's a bit verbal. And then you read the script alone. He'll come and check on you about halfway, how you doing? And that's kind of how it goes. And I think I was early because the script looked pretty crisp, and then I got called back about, I don't know, 6 weeks later. And I come back and it's all like spaghetti stained and coffee cut, it's all dog-eared, and you know that we've all kind of...
Everyone's come in. Well, it's interesting because he wants to have this one-on-one immediate reaction, and he's constantly checking on you to see if you're laughing at the right spots.
Actors are required to do a lot of dangerous stuff. Cliff here is meant to help carry the load.
You know, Quentin talks a lot about how Rick and Cliff are based on many different actors that he's admired. How do you find Rick? How did you make him your own?
Well, you know, first off, Quentin is the ultimate cinephile, and he started giving me, you know, episodes of every type of Western from the 60s you could ever imagine, a lot of B films that I'd never seen before, and introduced me to this sort of whole culture of actors in the 60s, and that time period that never quite made that transition. Guys like, you know, Eddie Burns, Ralph Meeker, Ty Hardin, and we, you know, after floating through at least a dozen of them, Ralph Meeker became the actor that I sort of honed in on, because I saw that he never quite he did some movies afterwards, but he never quite made that step in his career. But I felt this amazing pathos in his performances.
And you came out with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
I mean, how real was it? Like,
oh, that was a real flamethrower.
Everybody order fried sauerkraut! Burn, you Nazi bastards!
The first day I used that, it was a really hard day because they had created this sort of channel. By the way, all the greatest stuntmen in this town's history showed up for that Nazi convention. It was amazing. And I really had to blast them with a real flamethrower and like torch all of them. And I started feeling very bad for them, but then soon felt very bad for myself because that heat just wafted right back into my face. And then I had started to get chronic headaches that day, so I knew the flamethrower thing was coming back up again. But it was in the open air, thank God, and I didn't have to have the same sort of...
I did have a laugh when I saw it on the call sheet. And I saw it said LDC. Flamethrower rehearsal. And I just felt like, oh, that's gonna suck. That's really gonna suck.
My name's Cliff.
Me an actor?
No, I'm a stuntman.
Brad, so who is the actor that Quentin turned you on to, or the stuntman?
Well,
this is
funny enough, I came to his house with a DVD in my pocket, and he had me come to his house with a film he had already put on a screen that he was going to screen that night for us, and it was Billy Jack. Just as kind of a starting point, a place to spring from. But we had talked a lot about the relationships of, especially then, the stuntman-actor relationship. They invented much more. They had much more authorship over the stunts themselves. And there's been some classic pairings like Steve McQueen and Bud Ekins and Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham are quite infamous.
Tell me about, and this is open to anyone, Quentin as a director,
There's a lot of like group
morale boost. He's incredibly enthusiastic about being able to make movies. He loves movies. He's, that's...
And it's infectious.
And he literally is on set and has this thing, goes, let's do one more take, and the whole crew chants, why? Because we love making movies. And that's what he does. It's this great joy that he has to be on set, to be a working director.